at that age, the people you look up to, I mean, in all reality, they don't have the answers. That's what I learned. It's as a Mexican, we're like, oh well, your parents do this, or your uncle did this, and he's older than you, and you need to see what he does. They don't have the answers, right? They don't have the answers. In all reality, I hate to say this, but if I would have stuck to their mentality, I'll be mediocre as fuck. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to You Can Too. My name is Francisco Villagran, and on today's episode, we got something a little bit different. What a better way than to give a testimony than with the star witness to my life, right? For the past couple of years. My beautiful wife, Yareli Villagran. Thank you for coming on board, babe. So today, we go back to You Can Too as a platform that I want to show people a way to change, to be better, to progress, to go for your dreams, go for your goals. And I mean, we don't have a perfect life, by no means. We never had a perfect life. And what better testimony than the person that you're most intimate with that knows your ups and downs, that knows your goods and bads, that could notice something as easy as you having a rough day, or than your significant other, right? And today, like I said, my wife's here to help. I'm glad she joined us on this part. I mean, I kind of pushed her into it, but I mean, what better testimony than for somebody that's with you, not 24/7, but on your lowest parts and on your highest parts for sure. So further ado, babe, you got anything to say?
I mean, thank you for having me. I know this is very new to me. It makes me nervous being in front of a camera, but I'm happy to do this.
Well, just, quick recap. Like I said, this is more of a testimony for myself and for us and how we've grown, right? So we met many, many years ago.
Very, very long time.
It's a weird story. It's kind of weird anyways, but, I was in high school. She's a couple years younger than me. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
But our big... I think so. Straight out of high school, I joined the Marine Corps, and we didn't touch bases for many years. But I think our true story comes after I got out of the Marine Corps, right?
Well, we started talking when you were in the Marine Corps. But
yeah.
True relationship, I would say.
Yeah.
Long distance. I mean, it counts, but.
I mean, we were young, and it really didn't count.
And,
so, I was. Well, we were young.
Yeah, we were really
I can't remember exactly how old we were.
I think you were like 20.
Yeah.
21 probably, and I was like 17, 18.
But man, when I got out of the Marine Corps, that's when we started really, we started our relationship, I guess you would say it. But, with the You Can Too and self-discipline, this is cool because you guys will see how my discipline goes from being at a very, very high peak, and then it drops. I mean, I plummet in all reality. And like I said, she's going to be a very, very, intimate witness of this. My discipline, my drive, it kind of just goes off the wall and just goes down all the way to zero. And this is very intimate stuff, and I want to open it to you guys. That way everybody sees that, we all had troubles, we all struggled. So just when we started dating, I mean, every day I would run from the gym
to my house,
to her house. So I was working construction, and construction has always been my thing. Working construction, and then framing. Even it didn't matter if it was the winter or the summer. I would get home, go work out, go to the gym. There was a gym in Dallas, and what's that place called?
Was it LA Fitness?
By City Place in Dallas. If you're from Dallas, you'll know. But it's an LA
Dallas
Fitness
area.
And I used to go there, work out, and then I would run to her house, which was
about 4 miles, probably more.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more. No, I want to say maybe about 4 miles.
About 4 miles.
Yeah, and then we would hang out there, right?
Yeah.
And then we'd hang out, and then so that happened a lot through our dating phase. And like I said, I was working out, not drinking. I would run with my gallon of water.
Very, very disciplined.
I mean, to the extreme. Eating chicken, meal prepping. I think after the Marine Corps, a couple years after, that was when I was, maybe like a year in the best shape of my life. So that happens. And then
we move in together.
It's yeah. We moved in together. We left and we went to Terrell, Texas.
Very small country town, I would say. I mean, we lived in a couple of acres. We had a great life there.
Yeah.
Couple horses, couple cows.
But I was a piece of work.
Yes, he was.
I mean, there'd be, that's where kind of my discipline starts going. And by no means, right, I was young. By no means am I saying that I was a bad person or anything. But man, I stopped going. We moved out. I didn't have the gym as such in that. The gym was further now, right? The gym was an easy 20-mile distance from the house.
It's a really small town, so there was really nothing there.
Yeah, it was next to Walmart. Now it's growing a lot. But so we moved there, and I stopped going to the gym slowly. I would go maybe 2-3 times a week, and then before you know it, I was just not going at all. Right, not going at all. And instead of working out every day, it turned to drinking every day.
Yeah, but I just also feel like there was so much going on with you, within you. He was struggling. You were struggling a lot with your PTSD, and I think that had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, definitely. That had, but I mean, now that we look into it nowadays, I don't think that's an excuse for anybody at the end of the day, because, like I said it before, somebody has it worse than we do. Yeah. Somebody at one point has it worse. Even now, I mean, you could be at the bottom of the barrel and look next to you, and there's probably somebody that it's a little bit lower than you are. But nonetheless, so I mean, there was times where I would call, lunchtime Friday, and be like, "Hey."
Okay, so let's just kind of back up a little bit. So that happened even when we were just dating. So you were still drinking a lot. You were just very disciplined. So that the beer
I was disciplined in drinking and working out. Yes. So I would work out and drink.
Did the mixture
I balanced
of both.
them.
You balanced it together. I don't know how, but you did. So I was
working. I was a Marine. That's why we're born in a bar, Ton Tavern, Philadelphia.
While I was working at that time, I didn't have a car, and he would be my ride home. So I would get out from my job like around 10, 11 at night, and he'd be like, "Yeah,
I'll be committed. I'm going."
Yes, I'm gonna pick you up. So I was like, "Are you sure?" And then by the time I got out, he was nowhere to be found.
And not answering phone calls or anything.
Yes, so I was pissed. I was like, "Why are you gonna confirm that you're picking me up and then just leave me there stranded?" So that even started way before we moved in, because once we moved in, it was a lot of drinking, no more working out or none of that.
Very minimal.
Very minimal.
Well, I was physical. My physical activity was work, right? Construction. I mean, framing is it's hard on your body, and then drinking. I mean, it's even harder. So my body was not progressing at all, but. I mean, yeah, I would call, besides before we were dating, but when it really got messed up is I would call Fridays, be like, "Hey, she'll be like, "Oh, what do you want for dinner?" "Oh, yeah, make me this or make me some aguachiles or something." And,
And he never show up.
Before you know it, I never show up till Saturday morning.
Or sometimes, Saturday morning or 3 a.m. And
I mean,
I'd be blowing him up, young little old me blowing him up.
And all that.
Where are you?
And all that. I mean, and then I started going to a school that got me a job in Wolf's Point, which was about 5 minutes. I was an estimator, cabinet estimator. And, man, I thought it was, I mean, I look back at that time and it was good, right? I don't complain, but man, we weren't going nowhere.
No, nowhere.
Nowhere. I mean, every day drinking, I would on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, I would probably
every single
drink
weekend.
a 24-pack, right? And there was very couple of times where I'd get drunk, right?
Yeah, he was
I was more like a high tolerance.
Yeah, he wasn't aggressive or anything like that or mean. He just had his own things going on, and he just constantly drank.
A lot.
A lot.
So then we lived together, and I'm working at this cabinet place. I worked there for about 6 months before I said, "Yeah, I don't like this."
Yeah, it wasn't.
I used to get. It wasn't. When you do something that you don't like, you don't find the drive to even get up and do it, right? So I go back to framing, and so I've been framing now for quite a bit of years. I lost track of time. Back on framing after, well, I think it was 2016. I was working at that place because I recall my coworker talking about how he hated Trump and loved not Michelle Obama, Clinton, during those elections. But so we go back to framing, and I'm framing another 2 years, 16, 17. And this is me still having live for the weekend mentality. I'm still drinking every weekend. I mean, we went out together. You know, we didn't have but one kid at the time.
Yeah.
So it was easier for us to go out. But nonetheless, you know, we were not moving forward.
No, we weren't. We were stuck. We were really stuck.
Yeah, we were just hanging out, paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're not rich by no means, but we have plans and we're moving forward. One step forward, small or big, is better than nothing.
Right, but at that point we weren't.
No.
Our mentality was nowhere to where we are now.
No. So 2008, no, 18? No, 17.
17, because Everly wasn't born
Yeah,
yet.
2017, we get the news that we're expecting a girl.
A baby. We didn't even know if it was a girl.
Yeah, we're expecting a baby.
We're expecting our second baby.
And then, so you know, during that time that we're expecting our second child, I'm still a knucklehead. And
he's still drinking. He's still Friday drinking all day, Saturday all day, Sunday all day.
Nothing's getting better.
Nothing's getting better. He's gaining weight.
Yeah, I gained weight. I mean,
a lot of weight.
I try to lose it fast, and I've been doing good. I'm about 50-some pounds down now right now. But, you know, I forget to think that I gained the weight over a long period of time too. So I'm not gonna lose it over a short period of time. So but I'm staying motivated right now. So we get 2018. My daughter's born, and then I meet a person who's like, hey man, what are you gonna do? He was a Marine. He was in the Marine Corps too, and hopefully I'll have him on the podcast here soon. But he's like, man, what do you plan on doing? Like, you plan on framing your whole life? And I said, no, I mean, I plan on building houses on my own eventually. So a couple days later, I get this call for a job offer, and this is when I start. This is where really this is the initial part of me shifting my mindset, right?
Yeah.
So I leave framing, and I get into the management part, into the home building, being a home builder part of life, which is where I'm at right now. And I come up here, and this is what people don't see, is that this is 5 years ago.
Yeah.
My daughter's 6. So 5 years, 6 years ago, I lived in a warehouse for 3 years.
Yeah.
4 years.
Okay, so we lived in Terrell, Texas, and he currently works in Oklahoma. So it was a 2-hour drive.
There and back. So 4 hours total throughout the day.
So most of the time he'd stay in Oklahoma, and he lived in this shitty warehouse. And I was back home with my daughter, newborn daughter, and my son alone.
And we have horses. We have all kinds of things.
We had cows. Sometimes horses escaped. And I was the one that had to deal with all the hot mess.
I remember it was well, actually, I was still framing during this time.
You were still framing.
I was still framing. It was snowing, and she calls and she says, "Hey, Gunner's outside," and I'm like, "Well, I'm 3 hours away. Like, figure it out." You know?
I had to figure it out. It took me half a day to freaking grab a horse and put him back inside his stall, but I did it. I mean, I just had to. We had to both do sacrifices to kind of get us through.
You know, we're kind of getting a little bit off topic. A lot of people, I don't know if you guys know this, but my wife here is a Western influencer. And a lot of people are like, well, Western influencers don't ride horses. I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't know how to ride a horse, but you can take care of one, I think that's a little bit more country than somebody that just goes on and hops on a horse and takes a picture. But nonetheless, that's just my opinion.
I don't claim to be this
cowgirl.
But I can do the basics. I can ride a simple horse, and, but I'm not like this barrel racer or like,
calf roper.
Yeah, I mean, no hate. They're freaking badass women. But, I mean, I love Western
fashion,
and that's what I like to do. Yeah.
Well, going back to the other topic, so I started working over here, and man, I would spend. I mean, I would stay here all week in a warehouse where rats would climb on my bed that I had. It was just a couple buckets of paint with the plywood and a mattress, and I did that for many years, 3 years.
For about 3 years.
3 years, and then one day I'm like, hey, we're gonna build a house. I was like, what? Yeah, we're gonna build a house, and it was kind of surreal, But let me backpedal a little bit.
I didn't believe it at the beginning because he always made promises he never did.
But that's part of the circle that I was in, right? I was part of a circle that every Friday was drinking, every Friday was partying, every Friday was a paycheck that it's time to get fucked up and time to do all this dumb stuff, And that circle is still there, but honestly, I don't go around that circle no more. So when I came to Oklahoma, that's where my circle started changing, right? I remember my boss, he said, man, because they know me as Javier, right? Because my name's Francisco Javier, so they know me as Javier. And he said, man, what's the fastest way to be a millionaire? And I said, I don't know, win the lottery? He said, no. He said, you just have to own 10 properties. And if each property is worth $100,000 times 10, that's $1 million. And your net worth is $1 million. I was like, damn, that's right, So I had a little shift in gears there. And I started thinking a little bit that way. I started thinking, and it took years, right? Because even after that, I was still drinking. I was still being immature. I was still, Fridays drinking. I had to drive back and forth, and I still drank. But the seed was planted.
Yeah.
Right? There was a little seed that was planted in me during that time. And so and then the big change really happens when we move up here.
Mm-hmm. And let's just point this out before we kind of fast forward. The time where he was like drinking, and that was like his lifestyle. I was home with my son who's on the autism spectrum, and it was kind of hard on me. So a lot of the things will be very overwhelming for me, and I feel like his support wasn't really there all the way. I'm not saying he was a bad father. No, he's the best. But I mean, I feel like
But at that time, it was pretty shitty.
Yeah. At the same time, it's like on the weekend, where the hell were you? Yeah. And moving to Oklahoma, hanging around other different people, kind of like opened our mind to like a different view. And I feel like we're doing a lot better than we were when we were in Oklahoma. I mean, in Texas. And I just feel like it was meant to be.
Well, honestly, there's sayings for a reason, right? Because I think they're true. They say hang out with you hang out with 5 people, you're gonna be the 6th one, whatever they are. If they're doing good or if they're doing bad, you're gonna be the 6th one eventually. Right. So,
and not only that, you were kind of not very happy at your framing job. You were kind of getting into it with certain people, and so that kind of.
Well, as everybody knows, right?
He'd get home upset on a Friday because they made him upset at work, and he'd bring that anger to the house. And construction is very toxic. I mean, in reality, it is, especially in the trade world, right? It's well, I mean, everybody, I think that's around it knows that 90% of the crews are family members, right? So I was working with my dad and uncles, and when you especially in a traditional Mexican setting, right? You're not supposed to I wouldn't say disrespect, but even you showing that you've learned more than somebody that's older than you, they could take it as disrespect. And that tended to happen a lot, right? Yeah.
And I mean, maybe I was young and cocky too at the same time, but so, right, construction, you work with your family, and that turns out to be very toxic. And then the people, I heard Grant Cardone say this. He said, the people, your uncle who's 10 years older, 20 years older than you, your parents, at that age, the people you look up to, I mean, in all reality, they don't have the answers. That's what I learned. It's, as a Mexican, we're like, oh, well, your parents do this, or your uncle did this, and he's older than you, and you need to see what he does. They don't have the answers, right? They don't have the answers.
Not
in
to
all reality,
everything.
I hate to say this, but if I would have stuck to their mentality, I'll be mediocre as fuck. I mean, plain and simple. I mean, it sounds messed up, but when you grow, the path to growth is very lonely, and I think my wife could attest to this. It's been lonely for the past 3 years. Actually, it even seems like they're negative towards us.
Yeah, sometimes they do.
I mean,
seems that way.
it sucks, and it feels horrible, and we talk about it. But I mean, at the end of the day, our family is us, right? Our kids and us right now, and a lot of people might understand this, and if you don't, and if you're going through that point where you feel like your immediate family, your parents, your close relatives, cousins, or uncles, feel like it's envy. I wouldn't say. I don't want to tell nobody that it's envy.
No, I
but
think
the
it's
growth,
mainly like the Hispanic mentality where they're like scared to like lose their money or scared to try new things, and they kind of stick to their comfort zone.
And then when you try it though, it's like you're crazy, and you're stuck up, and you're
pretty much.
Yeah. And I think, but going back to the change in circle, right? I started hanging out with people whose visions were different. I mean, at the end of the day, I learned that, the weekends are for the week, right? Yeah. The weekends, if you live every day to party on Saturday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, well, you're not going to be nowhere, And I used to beat myself up, and I think about this now. It's like, well, when I was disciplined, when I was in the best shape of my life, I didn't take off Fridays or Saturdays. I still did something,
Yeah.
I didn't take off Sundays. So why can't we implement that into our everyday goals, right? Mm-hmm. It's like I mentioned the other day. It's if you have a goal, when you put it in the GPS, you just go, in the car. If you're going to go on vacation, you just go. So why do we worry so much about what's going to happen? Just get it done but I do think you guys need to change your circle. I think that's one of the biggest things that happened with us is we changed our circle,
We met people that are really great and very supportive, very helpful.
Yeah.
And
then
they're
God.
there. Yeah. And then we got really close to God. We grew up Catholic, both of us.
Yeah. And nothing against religion, right? This is what we found. This is the path we took. When I took that big leap towards, that's my Spanglish kicking in. When I took that big leap towards God, it was, I met with the minister at the church we go to. He said, man, like I said, nothing against other religions or other
people's
churches and beliefs, but he said, man, this is God's church. This is not a church where there's a committee and we accept you to our church. And we go by the word of God. And this is God's church. And if you want to be a part of it, if you want to accept the Lord as your Savior, this is where you want to be, then by all means. He's like, I'm just a messenger who wants to interpret the word of God as good as possible. And I'll tell you that, when we knew God. Our parents have always taught us about God, and we knew God. But I think we're a lot more intimate with God now.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing. For one, fear, right? I read this book called The Awe of God, which is about fearing God, and how when we have the fear of the Lord and we fear the Lord, fear and failing Him, I mean, nothing else, everything's possible.
Yeah. Yep. It's very true. I mean, we started getting closer to God, and we met a lot of amazing people through the church, and they've been very supportive of our new journey going on forward, more than our closer relatives. And I think that's, sad in a way, because it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah.
But it's been a blessing.
Yeah, but like we were talking, the biggest thing is change your circle. We all, this is a new year, and the cliche.
If you know you're around the wrong circle, your life is not moving forward, it's moving backwards, then you need to change your circle.
Plain and simple.
Plain and simple.
No ifs and buts about it, right? Yep. If you're getting shit-faced every weekend and you're not doing anything, change your circle.
Change your circle.
Exactly. We did that, and it's been working out pretty good. I mean, can't complain. Yep. And at the end of the day, like we're talking, I told my wife the other day, I said, man, by the time my kids, Ethan's 16 or 15, I mean, I could teach him how to fly a plane. I'm not the best teacher. We'll see how that goes. But now we're in the circle,
we might
right?
have to pay an instructor.
Yeah. Now we're in the circle of, it might sound cliche, but generational curses, right?
Yeah.
At the age of 15, I was working already. I was already framing. I already knew how to run a crew, 15, 16. But at the end of the day, besides that, I had no guidance in whatsoever of the future, how to do proper, I wouldn't say money management, but proper ideas to create a better life for my family that was coming.
It was just the same thing that we saw in our families. They got up, go to work, come home, and that was it, They didn't really seek for more, because
at the end of the day, as Mexicans, nobody could beat the work ethic, right?
No.
But what happens when you get somebody that has a little bit of, I'll take that back because I was going to say brain, but that makes it seem like we're dumb. But
no,
but at the end of the day, it's like somebody that's born with the skills. If they don't practice it, if they don't go out there and try to put them out and be better, then you're not gonna. You could be the best soccer player in the world, and you could have it in you. But if you never try to go play soccer, then how will you ever know?
Right.
And that's a thing. I think that's a cultural thing that we have. That our parents. My dad's a great worker, but your life, your body could only last so much working. Right? Why not try to think about different? I don't know. That's
different ways to make money without having to do the work.
Yeah.
I would say investing in properties, stuff like that. But a lot of people are scared.
Yeah. We're taught how to work, but we're not taught how money works. I think that's one of the biggest things.
Yeah.
But so I went from, right now I haven't drank for 7 months. And even before this, the past year and a half, 2 years, I slowed down my drinking a lot.
No more drinking. It's been about 7 months. He's lost over 50 pounds.
Yeah. I've been working out. I've been doing 75 hard, which I failed. We kind of talk about the GPS and putting in your destination. I know where I need to be. There's going to be things that are going to cost me to fail and setbacks, but we just adapt and overcome and we proceed. Mm-hmm. That's where I'm at with 75 hard right now. The first time I felt at day 60, and I still work out. I haven't been able to get back into it. I'm actually going to start it tomorrow. But, at the end of the day, if you don't fall, if you fall and you don't get back up, that's a problem because everybody falls.
Yeah.
I was falling for many, many years.
But you're getting yourself back up now.
Yeah. And then another thing that I've learned is that, man, we can't be negative, right? Negativity does not go nowhere. At the end of the day, right? Just like this video, there's things we can't crop out of our lives that make us better.
Yeah.
Like me being a shithole. That was really fucked up.
You still are.
Yeah.
But I just feel like it's like, I don't know. That's just how you are.
I wouldn't change it.
He's not a bad person. He really isn't. But he's just very I don't know, aggressive. But
be aggressive. Be aggressive.
But then he's not.
Man,
very playful, intense. Yeah, that's
very
the right
intense.
word. He's very intense. Very, very intense.
But before, man, I played the victim card a lot. I think, I think that's a lot of things that happen to veterans is that we play the victim card and we want people to give us and to think of us highly. Like I tell everybody, if I used to, honestly, the reality is the years that I lived, that I was being a drunk and not doing anything for my life, those were the years that I got out of the Marine Corps in 2014. And I was like, man, oh, I was a bad, even not too long ago, let's say 3 years ago, I was like, oh, I was a badass who ran 3 miles in 16 minutes, deadlifted, 450 pounds or whatever. And then, gun ho, went to Afghanistan. Now it's like, yeah, that is part of my life, and it's something that I will never change. But now I'm a different person, right? Those were the glory days, but we need to make today the glory days, right? So every day changes. Every day make it a glory day, and whatever you're doing, and you'll be golden. Stop living in the past.
Be the best of it. Whatever you're doing, just be the best of it.
Yeah.
Now you're Javier the builder.
Before Francisco
you were Javier
the builder.
the Marine.
Before I was V, the Corporal Squad Leader. Now I'm Francisco, the home builder. And I mean, that's just the reality of it. I mean, we haven't talked about my Marine Corps career in many, many months. Right? Every now and then, my kids, I think Emiliano might be
He's
a
really
gun-ho devil
it.
dog. He'll go through my stuff, and
he'll grab his uniforms.
I'm staring off into the darkness because I see my ribbon rack over there. But Emiliano, he'll be like, I'm gonna be a soldier, and like, oh, Daddy Marine.
Daddy's Marine. He'll watch a movie, American Sniper or whatever, and he'll pretend he's a sniper all week, and it's just funny.
Yeah, but
I mean, then Ethan does too. I mean, he's not that much into it now, but when he was little, oh my God, he was obsessed with his dad.
Yeah. He would always wear my uniforms.
He still does sometimes. Yeah. And he's
I
12.
got a helmet that we got from this young Marine, and it's somewhere in the house, and they wear it all the time. He keeps it
in his room. Yeah. It's in his room.
Yeah. But yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, we all struggle. We all go through things. 5 years ago, I was living in Terrell, Texas. No, 6 years ago, we had a home in Terrell, Texas, and
it was a small mobile home.
And I was drinking every day, sleeping in a warehouse.
I was alone with the kids,
spending money, like just living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
And it's not about the money in reality. I mean, I think the family that we're creating, having the opportunity to go to church on Sunday with the kids and taking my kids out to hunt, taking them to jiu-jitsu, that's what it's really about.
Gymnastics.
Everybody's doing gymnastics.
What would I say? We're more invested in their lives than how we would wait for, it's Friday and we're going to go out and we're going to go drink and we're going to go eat and And
by all means, some people might say that this is the natural part of life, that this happens, that we're older now, so we think more wisely. But at the end of the day, if I would have had somebody at the age of 25 that could have showed me this way, I mean, I would be in a whole different place I am right now. Yeah. And this is what the heart of this is about, right? Mm-hmm. If I could impact a 20-year-old and get them away from the habits that I had when I was 20, the habits that I had when I was 22, 25, and bring the knowledge that I have now to that young man or young woman and put them in just level them up exponentially, right? But, I mean, at the end of the day, you have to want to grow as well.
Yes.
Right? You had, because I had these people in my ear, and I had these examples, these role models for a long time. Well, since I came to Oklahoma, so 3 years. Yeah. And honestly, in the past year and a half, 2 years is when I really got serious about it, when I really, started changing. But, at the end of the day, it all boils down to being better. Every day we're better. It doesn't matter what you were before. You need to take that and you can't change it. I wouldn't change anything I was or ever been for nothing, because without that,
learn from it and move forward.
Yeah. Without that, I wouldn't be where I'm at now.
Right.
But if you're young and you're willing to learn and you want to seek mentorship, I think that's one of the biggest things for this too, is to bring you close to people that can teach you how to set yourself up for life, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, the biggest thing is let's all be better. If you believe in God or if you don't believe in God, I encourage you to look into it. It's amazing.
You will find yourself.
You find yourself. You would lose fear. You would drive better, your life better. I mean, I'm preaching at the same time. But like I said, speak positivity. Seek guidance like Proverbs 6:2. Don't be the snare of your words. Speak positivity. Be positive. It's not about the money. Don't think it's about the money. I don't think it's about the money at all. Knowledge is where it's at. Money comes and goes. And if I'll tell my wife this. We talked about this the other day. Always be better. And if God takes everything away from us, then it wasn't for us. It's not a big deal.
Yep.
We'll figure it out. God has given us the strength to figure it out. And I like to be an example to people of how I went from being a drunk, drinking every day, not doing anything, to trying to be better. I mean, by no means am I nowhere near where I want to be, but if y'all jump in this journey with me, we'll all get there at the same time.
Right.
To each other's destination, and we all have different destinations. At the end of the day, we as a married couple, as a father, as a mother, we're just trying to be better than what we were before. I mean, one of the biggest things is my wife reads like 10 books in like 3 days. Like we never, we were talking about this the other day. 5 years ago, it would have never crossed my mind that I'd be trying to get my pilot license, that I could teach my kids to fly, that I could look into building or creating an empire or developing wealth for my kids. That never crossed my mind. Never.
Not even me.
Never.
And I like to think myself that I'm a good encourager and I'm always supportive of him.
The best.
If he has an idea and he talks to me about it, I'm like, yeah, do it. Go for it. Like, what do you have to lose? Do it. And I could honestly say I would never had pictured him doing this, what he is doing now.
Exactly. I would have, not even 6 months ago, I saw this. It's funny because I saw this dude on Instagram talking a big game. His name is Albert Preciado. And he hooked me up. He called me and said, hey, man, I got a mastermind coming to California. Let's do it. And I was like, I said, I don't know. Let me think about it. And I called my wife and I said, hey, I want to do this. And she's like, all right, well, it's up to you. If you think it's going to be beneficial, go for it. I got you. And
we went.
We paid for it. We booked the flight. And then a week later, we're in California.
Yeah.
Actually, no, about 2-3 weeks later.
2 weeks. Yeah, 2-3 weeks later. But
we're in California. And I tell you what,
let me interrupt you for a little moment. I had no idea what this whole thing was, but I heard him very excited and very, excited about it. So I was like, you know what, let's just do it. Go for it. And he did. And I'm glad he did because I feel like it was very helpful.
Oh, man. I think, I didn't proceed. I didn't continue because to me, Albert, I mean, one day we'll get back and I'll do some more things with him, God willing. But he's in California and we're down here in southeastern Oklahoma, North Texas area. So the other things are a little bit harder for me. But, man, mentor, that guy, I mean, I'll get on Zoom calls with the group and everything. And that guy literally changed my view. I mean, I have nothing but great things that, and just with one day and the more I seen him, it's like, just the thought process that he has and what he brought up on me, it reinforced everything that everybody else has taught me. But he really made me get that jump and focus on growth and focus on impact and doing all this. So, I mean, if you guys have a mentor or somebody that you have in mind that you want to jump in with, do it. Go for it. Like he said, the greatest investment is in yourself.
That's right.
That is, you build yourself, you work on yourself, same thing with fitness. That's why, I came back and I said, well, man, I mean, at the end of the day, who's going to take me serious when I'm, 120 pounds overweight, right?
Yeah.
Who in their right mind and there is, I don't want to sound like I'm fat shaming nobody, but
but it's just like
it's a reality, right?
And
discipline.
You don't feel
it shows
good
discipline.
About yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah. You're always gonna feel better when you're fit and in shape and
confident.
Yeah.
So whoever says that they're confident and they're obese, you might be confident, but deep down it's all bullshit. And I can say this from my point of view because I was there. I was there and I've been there and I am there. And I mean, even just the way I kind of carry myself now, even back then, I think I did it
even
more because of ego.
Even when you were overweight, babe.
But I think it was
he's always been very confident.
I think it's an ego thing. because I don't like people to think I'm a bitch or something, you know.
She's always been like that, you guys.
But
very confident, very intimidating. You're an intimidating person.
Freddie, you think I'm intimidating? Freddie's back there nodding his head.
He's nodding his head.
Freddie's my assistant, y'all. So whoever thinks Freddie's a ghost, he's back there.
But he's honestly a great person. He's not.
But yeah, man, Albert. I mean, he changed. Albert changed the way.
Freddie definitely thinks you're intimidating.
Albert changed the way I thought. He really pushed me to jump onto the next thing, and that's where you guys see all these new projects that I have going on, and hopefully one day I'm able to be on Albert's, or he's able to be on our podcast.
Yeah, and another thing is that he's Hispanic, and it's awesome to see that, you know, our Hispanic people are doing something for themselves. And
he calls himself the Mexican King of Bel Air.
Yeah, that's freaking badass, you guys. And I mean, that's what we're striving for.
Yeah. You got to have people to look up to in reality.
Yeah.
And like I said, it sounds messed up, but your aunts and uncles are not it. I mean, it's part of life, right? When you outgrow somebody, you're going to be the person that is kind of bad. But I mean, if you could outgrow somebody and then go back and help them, why not?
Exactly.
Why not? Why do we all have to be in the same mix?
It's not a competition, you know? It's fine to help each other out.
I'm all about it. That's my biggest thing. I want to impact. You know, if I could, you know, if this could help. I was talking to somebody who's going to be on here hopefully soon today. And I said, man, if your story could impact, just one thing you say could impact 100 people, what else can you ask for, right?
Right.
If this gets to one person and says, oh man, look at that. That person was in the same place I am now and he's there right now, then I'm going to get after it.
Right.
Why not?
Why not?
Right.
Exactly.
I mean, look at you. You went from having just one day, no followers, to getting
yeah, I think I went viral.
Sponsorships and all kinds of crazy stuff, right? I mean,
it was just one day I decided that I hated my outfits and I wanted to try something different, and I went for it. Remember, I was bugging you about those bell bottoms?
Yeah.
And you finally bought them for me, and I was so excited. So I took pictures, and that one picture went viral, and that's how I kind of started my fashion love
endeavor
for Western. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but one single photo got me a bunch of followers.
So hopefully this Yareli's followers follow us now.
Hey, I haven't really been active, but I really need to get it back on my shit, honestly.
But I mean, I think that wraps it up for today. Thank you for being on here, babe.
Thank you, babe, for having me.
Like I said, we are all a work in progress. And if you think you made it, that's when you stop growing. Right? So
don't give up on your dreams, no matter how big they seem. No dream is too big.
Yep. Get after it. Go for it. 10x it, like Grant Cardone said. If you 10x it and you don't make it all the way, I mean, you'll be pretty close.
Yeah.
I mean, but at the end of the day, remember, everything is sacrifice. Sacrifice, sacrifice, sacrifice.
Yes, that's right.
Well, thank you guys for joining. This is You Can Too, and hope to see you on the next one. Peace.